Hello students. In today's class, we'll be moving on to the next chapter of Java, that is decision control structures. Okay. Now, up till now, which programs you have written in Java? They were simple programs in which we were just uh, initializing a few variables, putting some values in it, doing some simple calculations and displaying the results. Okay. Now we'll be continuing in the same simple programs only, but we'll be introducing some new statements which gives us more power to do some more interesting programs in Java. Okay, so in this chapter there are many statements in Java which will allow you to write more interesting statements which will allow you to branch your program control, like either you will do one set of statements or you may do another set of statements. Such type of branching you can do, or you may want to repeat a set of commands again and again, that you can do in like these are the statements which you'll be learning in this chapter. But obviously we cannot cover all the statements together in one session. So today specifically what I will be doing is only the if control structure, that is also known as the conditional control. Okay, conditional control structure, that is what we'll be doing today. So pay attention, and you can do the programs along with me, or you can do it later on after you watch the whole video. Okay. Okay, let us begin now. Okay, so here we are. Okay, so this is the chapter 6. Now in this chapter what it will be covered is the if control structure, the switch statement, the looping control structure, for loop, while loop. This is all part of the loop control. Okay, and so this is what is there in the chapter. But today what we'll be learning is the decision control structure. So basically in the decision control structure, sorry, what we'll be learning is the selection control structure. In the decision control structure, what you have is the selection statements, the looping statements, and the jumping controls. Okay. So in the selection control statements, what you have is they cause the program. Uh, just excuse me for a moment. Okay. Now in the selection control statements, it causes the program to either do one set of action or another set of action based on a condition. Now we are familiar to this because we have done algorithms and flowcharts. Okay. Now, so when you are like when we had done flowcharts, I had explained, like, see, this is a decision box here, and inside the decision box you are evaluating an expression there, a condition over there. And if this condition, this decision box will always give you a boolean result. Boolean result in the sense that it will either result in a true or a false. Okay, that is represented in the flowchart with a yes and a no. Okay, so if the boolean evaluates to true, then we are displaying, like, the condition over here is age greater than equal to 18, then display you can vote, otherwise display cannot vote. Okay, so when this program is executed, both these things won't be executed. It will either be this or this. So basically you're branching. You're branching the control. Either it is like you're on a crossroad and you either go this way or you go this way. You cannot go on both ways simultaneously. Okay. So the purpose of the selection control statement is to branch the course of action in your program. Okay, so if the condition evaluates to true, a set of statements in the if block will be executed. Okay, so in this selection statements, there are basically if statements, there are three types. We will look at all the three types of if statements. Okay, now first is the simple if. where you are just checking if and the condition, and that condition, if it evaluates to true, then what to do. Okay, so it is written in this manner. So this is how it is. The statement if is used to execute a block of statements. If the statement is true, then it will do whatever you are telling after that. Otherwise, it will ignore the statement. Okay, so in this example, you can see over here, if marks are more than 35, system.out.println passed. Okay, that means it will print passed only if the marks are greater than or equal to 35. Okay, otherwise this statement will not be executed. So if the marks was 25, then this will not be done. That printing of past is not done. Okay, so this is the syntax of the if statement, where you have if and a boolean expression, and if this is evaluate, then you have a curly bracket, and then you have the block of Java statements. What to do if this expression evaluates to true? Remember, this block of statements will be executed only if this evaluates to true. Okay. Now let's take this for example. This is the example of it. This is the syntax. Now here you can see there is a little difference here. You can see in my example, I have not put the curly brackets here. Okay, this the syntax is otherwise the same. If, and this is a boolean expression, we are trying to evaluate if the marks is less than 35. If it is less than 35, then we are printing failed. Okay, now here when we have to execute only one statement, uh, then you have to you can ignore these curly brackets here. If it is only one statement, then it's okay if you don't give this curly brackets. Okay, but if there are 2 3 things which you want to print, then you will have to give the curly bracket. Like for example, suppose you wanted to print failed, um, pay work hard in the next semester. Suppose 2 statements you wanted to do, then in that case you need to have the curly brackets. Need the charger. Okay, next is if else statement. Okay, now in the if else statement, uh, as you can see over here, this is used when either of the two actions are to be performed depending on a specific condition. Okay, so if the condition, that means here in the previous example, you can see over here in the previous example, if what happens if the marks was not less than 35, nothing, there's no nothing told in the program what to do if it was greater than or equal to 35. Nothing has been told in this structure here. Okay, so the simple if is there, where we are just saying that we want this to be done if this evaluates to true. Okay, in the second structure which is there, that is known as the if else statement. In the if else statement, what we are doing is we are evaluating a condition. Okay, this is the syntax. If boolean expression, if this evaluates to true, then we have this block of statements will be executed. Otherwise, we have this block of statements to be evaluated. So this is known as the if else statement. Okay, so this is an example here. If marks is less than 35, system.out.print failed, else system.out.println passed. Now here you can see either it will print failed or it will print passed. It will not do both. Okay, so in this you can see if the marks is less than 35, then it will print failed. Now here again you can see these curly brackets for the block of statements I have not written in the example. That is because the statement which is to be executed if the expression is evaluating to true is only one. I only want to do one statement action. So when there is only one statement, then I need not put the curly brackets here. Otherwise, I have to put a curly bracket. Okay. So if there were 2 things, as I told you, let's say work hard the next semester, then I need to put a curly bracket here and a curly bracket here in this manner. Okay, let's come to the third one, the if else ladder. Now, if else if ladder. Okay, now this is used when we have multiple conditions to check and we want one of the multiple conditions to be evaluated and displayed. So for example, suppose if you have the syntax is as follows: if the boolean expression, then again a block of statements if you are using, you will put curly brackets, otherwise you will not put the curly brackets. Actually, even if you put for one statement the curly bracket, it is fine, it is allowed, but then you have the option of not typing that if you wish to. Okay, so you have this condition is evaluated. If this condition is evaluating to true, then this block of statements will be executed. After it finishes executing this block of statements, it will come below, that means it will ignore all the remaining else if, and it will come to the statement after that. Okay, and if this was evaluating to false, the first boolean expression, if it is evaluating to false, only then it comes to the next if, and in the next if again it will evaluate this boolean expression. If this boolean expression evaluates to true, it will follow the statements after that. Okay, and if it is again evaluating to false, then it will not do this block of statements, the second block of statements, and it will go to the third expression. Okay, so it will again start evaluating this. That means what? That it will go to the next if only if the previous ifs were evaluating to false. If the boolean expression was evaluating to true, then it will do that block of steps, and it will come out of the if. It will not look at the remaining conditions. It will not check the remaining conditions. Okay, so this is how the if else if ladder works. So let's take this example. See this: if marks is less than 35, then it will print failed, and it will come out of the, it will not check for all these statements. And else if marks is less than 45, then again it will do this. Okay, it will print passed. Otherwise, if it is not evaluating to less than 45 also, then it will go on to the next condition, and it will see is the marks less than 60. If yes, then it will print second class. Okay, if no, then it will come to the last to the next condition. Is it less than 35? If 75, if yes, then it does this. Okay, so in effect, this particular statement, let us look closely at this if else ladder. What we, the same example. See, in effect, this block of code which I have given, this if else if ladder, it will work for this table here like this in effect. Because see what is happening, we are checking if marks is less than 35, then print. That means it is covering the range of 0 to 35. So if it is falling in the range of 0 to 35, it will print failed, and it will come out of the, it will not check for the remaining statements, and it will come out of the if. Okay, only if the marks was not less than 35, let's say it was 75 suppose. So then what it does is it goes on to the next one. That means when will it come to the second if? Only if the marks was greater than or equal to 35. So it will come here. So now greater than or equal to 35. So 75 is greater than equal to 35. But still it will not go on to this statement. It will not do this one. Why? Because it is not matching the criteria of less than equal to 45. Okay. So this pass is going to be printed only if it is falling in the range of 35 to 45. That means it is coming to the second if only if the first if fails. If it is evaluating to false, only then it comes to the second if. Okay. So in the second if, it has entered only because the marks was greater than or equal to 45. But the moment we say that is it less than 45, that means we are putting a range over there. We are seeing less than 35, greater than or equal to 35, and less than 45. Okay, so it is going to print passed over here. Second is, next is, when you say over here If marks is less than 60, then print second class. So now in this case, because it was 75, the marks, the example which I'm saying. So it will evaluate to false here. Then comes to the next statement here. Now it sees, is the marks, it has come here because the marks was greater than 45. When it is greater than 45, so 75 is greater than 45, but still it will not print second class because this condition is not evaluating to true. Marks is greater, less than 60. No, it is greater than 60. 75 is greater than 60. So it is not doing this. It will not do second class also. Then it goes on to the next statement. That is it less than or equal to 75? Yes, it is equal to 75. So it will print first class and it will come out. It will not do the last one. Suppose if the marks was 90, then this will evaluate to false and it will print distinction and come out. So in effect, this table, a range of values can be checked with a simple without using logical operators also. Okay. Now we will be doing the same example using a logical operator also. Logical operators I have already told you, but we have not done any program based on that. So there are basically three logical operators: and, or, and not. So we could have given a Boolean expression using an and statement also over here. For some children, they may find it difficult to understand this by giving just one particular range. I am giving the outside limit in this set of code. When I am checking the Boolean expression, I am just checking for the outer limit. Because as I told you, since it is coming to the second if, only if the first is evaluating to false. So I need not give both, I need not check for both. Is it greater than 0 and is it less than 35? Then put fail. Otherwise, is it greater than 35 and is it less than 45? Then put fail. So I am not checking for both the limits, and I'm because the logic is it is coming to the next one only if the previous one is evaluating to false. Okay, but if that is confusing you, then you can use the logical operator and. We will, when I do the topic of logical operators again, maybe in the next session, I will explain this to you. We can give the same set of commands using a logical operator where I will check for both these values, 0 as well as 35, 35 and 40, 45 and so on. I can check in this manner. So this is the if else ladder. Okay. Now, what I can do is we will just uh, execute this program once in BlueJ and show it to you. I'll show it to you. Okay. So I'll just close this. Okay. Let us start BlueJ and begin with this. So I'll call the name of the class as if structure, or should I call it? Okay. I'll just call it if demo. I'll just begin in a while. Okay. Here we are. Okay, let us begin. So I'm going to click on new class, give a class name as if demo. Suddenly become very slow. If underscore demo, I'm saying. Okay, and say okay. Okay, here we are. It is, there are too many, so it is coming on each other, on top of each other. Okay, this is my if demo class. I double click it to edit it. Okay, now this is the default program written. I'm selecting all and deleting this. Now let us begin with my program. So let's say program uh, 13, or we call it 1, or we call it 13 only. Okay, program 13, uh, demonstration of the if statement. Okay, as I told you, this is a comment block over here. So you may write anything over here. Okay, covered in the recorded session. Okay, now let's assume that I want to begin this. So I begin with declaring my class. So I say public, sorry, I have already declared the, first I have to declare the class. So I will say public class, and the name of the class is if demo with the I capital there. So I say I, remember this, what you write over here, the class name should be identical to what you gave at that when you write, when you said new class. And if you have forgotten, you can just look at the title bar over here. In the title bar, it will give you the name of the whatever you have given for the class. Okay, now you open the curly bracket and then you declare the class, the method. So you say public static void, and we are learning only the main method right now. So I'm clicking on the main, and we are assuming, let's assume that we are want to accept the, okay, what are we are going to accept the marks from the student, and we are just going to display pass or fail. Okay, so public static void main, and let's assume I'm calling it as int marks. Okay, or I can call it percentage also, int or float percentage. Okay, and I will declare over here. Now in this case I don't need any more percentages because my program is a very simple one. I'm just taking the percentage directly from the user as an argument to the main method. Okay, when we execute, it will ask me for the value of pers. I've called my percentage variable as pers. So it will check whether the percentage is less than 35, then it will print fail. Otherwise, it will print pass. So I'm giving directly the if statement here with the Boolean expression. So I'm saying if pers is less than 35, okay, then what we are going to do is we are going to print system. Now I can give a bracket here if I wish to, but in this case I just want to print one method, one statement only. So I will not use the brackets. System.out.println, and I will write over here failed. Okay, and else, oh, there is no else here. First I'll just show you this one. Okay, so this was a simple if. So I'm closing my class and my main method. Okay, so there were two opening brackets, so there should be two closing brackets here. Now I compile this. Okay, no errors. Now when I will run this, you can see this. When I will run this, it will ask you for the percentage. Suppose I type the percentage as 69F. Okay, it's a float, so I have to type a F there. So when I will execute this, it didn't give me any output. It has stopped. The program has stopped. Why? Because my program has only specified an action to be done if the marks was less than 35. Let us execute this program again, and this time I will put the marks less than 35. So suppose if I say 25 F. Okay. So in this case, it is displaying a message failed. That means if the marks was greater than 35, I will not get any output because my program is not saying what to do if the marks was greater than or equal to 35. So in order to do that, we have to use the second type of if statement, that is if else. So in if else, I say like this, else system.out.println, and I type over here passed. Okay, then again I will compile this. Right, now let us see this again, the same program. I am running this. Now suppose if I type 60 56, okay, so it will now display passed. And what happens if I type something less than 35? So suppose if I say 34, 32, 32F. Okay. So it is displaying failed. So it is working. I have given some action to be done for both the cases. If it is less than 35, then it will print failed. And if it is more than or equal to 35, then it will print passed. Okay. So this is we saw two types of statements in this program. One was the failed, the simple if, where when the marks was typed more than or equal to 35, the program didn't do anything. Okay. And in the second example, when I added the else part, that means we are also saying what to do if this was evaluating to false. Then it comes here and it does this. Okay. So let us take the if else if ladder. Okay. So in this case, if the percentage is less than 35, then print failed. Otherwise, we want to check one more thing. If percentage, now we want to check the range of 35 to 45. So if percentage is less than 45, I'm going to keep 45 as the second class. If it is 44.5, then it will be in the past class. Okay. So let's say pass class. So you just managed to pass. That is the pass class. Okay. So here what it is actually checking is, I'll put a comment statement here, that it is checking uh, range of 0 to 45. Okay. So I'm giving like this. Now this is a comment entry just to understand it better. Then I write another else statement here. Else if, now I want to check the second statement, was less than 60. That means here what we are checking is, we are checking for the range of 45 inclusive. Okay. 45 to 60. That means even if it is 45, it will fall into this range. Because here we are saying less than 45. I didn't say less than equal to 45. If I say equal to here, that means if I type 45, it will fall in this class, pass class. Okay. So I'm saying 45 to 60. Now when I'm saying less than 60 means what? That if it is 60, then it is not in the second class, it is in the first class. So I will type over here system.out.println second class. Okay. And then again I'm checking over here. So here now the third condition I'm checking over here. If percentage less than 75, that means here we are checking for the range of 60 inclusive to 75. Okay. And 75 is not included in that, because we are checking less than 75, not equal to. Okay. So then it will print over here system dot out dot println first class. And otherwise, that means if it is not in the range of, if it is 75 and above, so we want to print distinction. So here I can just, without giving a last if, I am just typing over here system dot out dot println print, let's say distinction. Okay. So this will be checking for the range of 75 and above. Okay. So this is the statement here. Now I am closing my main method, and I'm closing the class. Okay. And compiling this. Okay, there is some error. Let us check. Control K. Okay, there were two. This was already there, so I'll just delete this. So these brackets were already there, so I'm deleting them. Now compiling this again. Okay, no errors. So let us execute and see this. Now when I will execute this, I'm right clicking on this if demo. Okay, it's asking for the percentage. Suppose if I type 68%. Okay, so now 68F I have to type because it's a float. So it is saying first class because it is falling in the range of 65 and above and less than 75. So it is not printing first class also and distinction also. Okay, so you can see that the once it is evaluating to true. See, the if statement works like this. It evaluates the first Boolean expression. If that expression evaluates to true, then it will do what the following statements and ignore the remaining ifs and come out. It will go to the next if only if the previous if was had been evaluated to false. Okay, so if the previous one was evaluated to false, then it will check for this condition. Now when I typed 68, this evaluated to false. It is not less than 635. So it evaluated to false. So it came to the next one. Next one it is again checking, is it less than 45? Yes, sorry, no, because 68 is greater than 45. So this is also evaluating to false. It comes to the third one. Is this evaluating to less than 60? No. So this is also false. So it will not do this. It comes to the next one. Is this evaluating to true? Yes. It is less than 75. 68 is less than 75. So it prints first class and it will ignore this next else and come out. This is how the if statement works. Okay, we'll just run the same program using other inputs. Okay, so suppose if I type 24, 24F, so it is printing failed. Okay, now we'll run this again. Whenever you write a program, you should test all the conditions. Okay, suppose I type something like 47. So it is saying second class. Suppose I type 37. It should say pass class. Okay, suppose I type 65. So 65F. Okay, so first class. So it is all coming to correct. Suppose if I run it and I type something in the distinction range, suppose I type 98F. Okay, so it is going to print over here distinction. So it is working for all the different statements. So this is the if else ladder demonstration which you had today. Okay, so we will be revisiting this program again later on when I will do logical operators with you. When I teach you and or and not operators, that time I will again revisit this program and we will do the same. I find this a easier method of like we don't have to write both the conditions. But for some children, I have observed in my previous years, they find it difficult to understand, even though I'm telling you that it goes to the next statement only if the previous one was evaluating to false. So sometimes they tend to make a mistake in this kind of a method. So it is better for that you use the AND statement and use both the Boolean expressions and join them with an AND. So you check, is it greater than 0 and is it less than 35? Then it is you are going to print pass and so on. So you give two conditions there and join them with a logical operator called AND. Okay. So in the next whenever we do logical operators, that time I will explain this to you again. Okay, so we will stop here for today. Okay, bye. I do want you to practice this, children, and write down these programs in your notebook.